The Laws of Ascension, Chapter 96, Ironhallow. Master, do you have any tasks for us coming up? Lorik asks Cyrilda. I did. I had wanted to bring Sarah, Rowan, and Vera to a dungeon. It's a challenging one that requires you to be second-tier lesser mages at least. I plan to send them in with some knights in training, but now they can't enter, so I'll have to come up with something else. Why? Do you have plans? She asks back. No, I just wanted to go and take on some more academy tasks. I want to build my points back up, Lorik replies. How many points do you have left? Sarah asks. Around 26,000. Lorik replies, causing her to scoff. After buying the soul flowers, she and Rowan were down to 0 points. After doing a few tasks before the dungeon, they barely got up to 2,000. It should be fine to go do more tasks, but remember, you have the Academy's mandatory mage class in 2 days. It starts at noon, so make sure you're there, Cyrilda says. Then is there anything else to do today? Lorik asks, clearly getting impatient. No, why are you in such a rush? Cyrilda asks. Now that my laws are all caught up and I'm a 9th-tier mage, I really want to go see what I'm capable of. Lorik replies, causing Cyrilda to chuckle. All right then, go on, but make sure you make it back in time for the class. Cyrilda says sternly. I will, Lorik says before getting up. He leaves the castle and rides Nixfang back to the academy. He knows it's late, but if he leaves now, he can take a task that's further away from the capital than before. The idea of leaving the capital where he spent his entire life also makes him excited to the point of wanting to rush things. Once he gets to the academy, he goes straight to the task center. He sits at an empty table and activates it. Look at that! There's another urgent task. Lorik thinks upon seeing the task screen. At the top, there's an urgent task called Investigate the Mines. He taps it to read the details of the task. It says that there's a nearby town that's next to a mountain. The name of the town is Ironhallow, named after the iron mines that were first discovered. There are iron, copper, and other mines on that mountain. A few days ago, the miners who entered never returned. The town sent people in, fearing a cave-in or something similar. But they found nothing. They hired a local guild to investigate, but they couldn't find any traces of the miners. It's as if the miners simply disappeared into thin air. The task is unranked, as it's an investigation, not a combat task. Since many people went into the mines, they're sure there are no monsters or anything in the mines. The task rewards aren't given, but it says they'll greatly reward anyone who can find any clues. No matter how small the clues are, with my Hunter's Vision spell, I can see their aura. This doesn't specify how long ago the miners disappeared, but I might be able to see traces of their aura. Though if people went in after them, they might have covered it up. Lorik thinks before tapping on Accept Task. The urgent task disappears, and he gets a notification on his bracelet. He opens it up and reads it. It tells him to talk to the lord of the town upon arrival. Lorik gets up and leaves the task center. He rides Nixfang out of the academy and to the capital gates. Am I able to help with this task? Nixfang asks as they wait in line at the gate. It'll depend on whether the mines are wide enough to fit you. If it's too small, you won't be able to fight. Lorik replies before showing his ID to the guard. They pass through, and Nixfang runs to the town. The town is a day's trip on horseback from the capital. But Nixfang is much faster than a horse. She manages to get there in just 6 hours. The town is near the base of a large mountain. It's surrounded by a stone wall and has a few gates along it. It's 3:30 in the morning when they arrive at the town. Lorik shows his ID to the guards before they let him in. Since it's so early, Lorik asks the guards for directions to an inn. They point him in the direction, and Lorik quickly arrives at it. It's a big wooden building with 2 floors. Lorik enters and finds himself in a large room. There's a bar counter in front of the wall in front of him. Tables fill the room, with a few early patrons eating already. A woman stands behind the counter and smiles as Lorik approaches. Nixfang entered his soul outside, as she couldn't walk through the door. Welcome, are you looking for food or a room? The woman asks. A room, Lorik replies. Then that'll be 10 gold coins for the night. That includes breakfast and dinner. Those are both served between 6 and 9 in the morning and 4 to 7 in the evening. Should you miss the time frame, or if you want to have more, you'll have to pay for the food. She explains before Lorik pays her. She leads him upstairs, the stairs down a hallway to the left of the room. The bathrooms are on opposite sides of the stairs. She leads him to his room, the first door he comes across upstairs, with a number 1 on it. If you have any questions or need anything, feel free to come to me, she says before unlocking the door and handing Lorik the key. Lorik thanked her before entering the room. There's a bed in the back left corner. Next to that is a nightstand. There's a window straight across from him. A desk sits to his right next to an empty bookshelf. Nixfang comes out of his soul and lies on the ground as Lorik lies on the floor opposite the bed. "Why are you coming out?" Lorik asks Nicefang. "I want to try sleeping out here," Nixfang replies before lying on the floor next to the Lorik. Lorik lies down and closes his eyes. After a few minutes, he falls asleep. He wakes up the next morning and feels something heavy on him. He opens his eyes to see Nixfang on him. She's draped over him like a blanket, except she's much heavier than a blanket. Lorik tries to pull himself out, causing her tail to flick over to him. They brush against his face before he stops. Lorik manipulates her gravity to lift her up. He moves out of the way before lowering her back to the ground. Looking outside, Lorik sees that the sun is coming up. He checks the time and sees it's 7:20 in the morning. "You could have asked me to move," Nixfang says, causing Lorik to sigh. "I thought you were sleeping. Why were you on me?" Lorik asks. "Because you're warm," Nixfang replies before entering Lorik's soul. He walks downstairs and eats breakfast. After he finishes eating, he leaves and walks to the Lord's house. It's a large mansion near the northern side of town. That used to be the center, but the town expanded south since it was founded. So now he lives in the center of the northern half of town. Lorik doesn't ride Nixfang, as she doesn't know where to go. Once he finds the mansion, he approaches the gate to it. "What business do you have here?" the female knight asks Lorik as he approaches. She's standing on the right side of the gate. Another knight stands on the left and watches him. "I'm here to complete an urgent task for the Academy from the capital. I've been told to speak with the Lord about it. It's about the missing miners in the mines." Lorik replies while bringing up the task details on his communications bracelet. The knight reads it before nodding. "Follow me then and stay close," she says before unlocking the gate. She enters and Lorik follows her in. She leads the way into the mansion and upstairs. They stop in front of a door and she knocks. A moment later, a voice calls out for them to enter. They enter the room and Lorik looks around. Bookshelves line the walls, filled with books and scrolls. A few paintings hang across the walls with portraits of people. A desk is placed in the center of the room. A man sits behind the desk wearing a disheveled suit. He's filling out paperwork with an exhausted expression. "My lord, a student from the academy is here to investigate the mines," the knight says, causing the man to sigh. "Thank you. You may return to your post," the man says, causing the knight to nod before turning and leaving. "I thank you for coming, but I ask that you head back," the man says, surprising Lorik. "Why, don't you want me to investigate the mines?" Lorik asks, causing him to laugh. "If a student who's only been studying magic for 2 years at most could solve this, it would have gone this far. Our guild sent in plenty of mages, many of whom were 4th tier and above. None of them could figure out what happened, and I'm not expecting you to be any different," the man says before leaning back. "Could they see aura?" Lorik asks after a moment. "See aura? No, only rare laws and high-tier grand mages can do that," the man replies. "Can I go in the mines, or are you going to prevent that?" Lorik asks, causing the man to look at him. He sighs before returning to his papers. "By all means, feel free to waste your time chasing the wind. Now, if that's all, I need to get back to work. This incident has caused most of my miners to refuse to enter the mines. I need to find a grand mage to investigate for me, but those bastards charge a king's ransom," the man says before Lorik turns and leaves. He leaves the mansion and returns to the gate he entered from. The knights let him out, and he heads straight to the mines. "Master," Nixfang starts, speaking straight to his soul, "do you know which mine it is? From the sounds of it, they have a lot of them." Nixfang asks. "No," Lorik replies with a sigh, "but I can look for aura. I imagine if the miners are refusing to work, the one with the most aura would be the one they went missing in," Lorik replies before stopping. He arrived at the path leading up the mountains. There's a small wooden building next to the path. The path is blocked by a stone gate. If he wanted, Lorik could jump over it, but there's a group of people arguing in front of it. They're all muscular and wearing loose shirts and pants. They each have leather boots and gloves on. Lorik approaches them and hears their argument.